Congress, including House Speaker Mike Johnson, said they will oppose the tax hike. Research shows about 50% of Arkansas households are ALICE, which means they're asset limited, income constrained, and employed. They don't make enough money to cover basic needs. Instances of raising the top tax rate would increase the amount of money most Americans have by about 2%. GM's years of attempted trickle-down economics have shown that only the wealthy benefit from low tax rates.
If lowering top tax rates was gonna trickle down, then you and I would be electricians in America because we have your low top tax rate protected.
Benson says higher personal tax rates have virtually no impact on long-term economic growth, and that lower personal tax rates lead to less economic growth. She explains the wealthy tend to take advantage of the lower rate by moving their income.
Instead of reinvesting it in your business where it will grow your business and grow the economy, you'll be more likely to just take it as personally, which is not going to stimulate growth.
I'm Freda Ross, Arkansas News Service. Find our trust indicators at publicnewsservice.org.
Thank you for listening to KABF 88.3 FM, the voice of the people. This is Evie, host of Pensioners Radio. Every week, volunteers like me bring you more than 100 hours of music and talk that you won't hear anywhere else. The generosity of listeners like you has helped KABF stay on the air since 1984, and we appreciate your support. By making a donation now, you can help us to continue bringing to Arkansas diverse voices, diverse music, and diverse cultures from the community. Call us now at 501-433-0088 or visit us at www.kabf.org to support community radio. Thank you for your support.
Yes, that's Anita Baker bringing us in this morning to Community Voices right here live at KABF 88.3 FM, where we are the voice of the people. This is the Reverend Doctor. You can call me Denise, hosting the show this morning. Rolling so low, I have no idea where Tony is. He can tell y'all about it the next time he's on the mic, but I am so glad to be here with you. So glad that you stopped right here so that we could have this conversation that includes all of us. And so in the spirit of oneness, I say Sawubona to you this morning. Grand rising humans, in the spirit of oneness that binds us together by our humanity. Everyone is invited to join us for this conversation where we center Blackness in the context of the human story. The phone lines are already open at 501-433-0088. You can't hear me on the radio. Well, they said this one not working. I don't. Okay, so. Give me a minute. Hey Charles, they can't hear me on the radio. None of the lights are working on the board, and nothing's moving behind me on this thing back here. What do I need to do? I'm not talking about the mic. I'm talking because it says right here use mic off because I got mic off on, but none of my lights are lighting up on my board. And they told me that they can't hear me on Facebook. They can hear me on Facebook, but they can't hear me on the radio. I mean, they can't hear me on the radio. So, except the program assignment, it's on 1 and 2. Okay, so I just put it on all, so all of them are on one only. Well, I put it on mute just because I was talking to you so that they wouldn't hear me on Facebook, but now the mic is not on mute. The mic is not on mute now. Mic, but it's mic 1. I don't have a CD player. There's not even a disc in here. Okay, I got a CD in. Okay, I got CD 1 on, CD 2 on. Oh, wait, there we go. Yeah, you hear the music. How do I see the mic is working? Put it on while the CD is playing. Say something. Hello. This is Denise, your girl Denise. The Reverend Doctor, you can call me Denise. At KABF 88.3 FM, where we are the voice of the people. So low, can you hear? You hear the sound of the music? Can you hear me talking on the radio? Yeah, I pulled the music down because he said there's sound. I got somebody talking to me on Facebook too while you're talking to me, and they said there's sound, but it's only sound like you from the music. Now that I'm talking, there is no sound. Hold on just a minute. Let me get this caller. Caller, you are live on the air, KBF 88.3. Thanks for calling. Hello. Right. So I just wanted to see what happened. Yeah, everything's on program 1. Everything's on 1. All the yellow lights are on 1. All right, thanks a lot, Charles. We're gonna play some music. Yes, the voice. Yes. So we're having some technical difficulties, and so we are going to wait for some help to come in. You can hear me on Facebook just fine, but I cannot hear me on the radio. And after all, this is a radio show, so we are going to do. We are going to play some music so that. I'm gonna play some music until we can get something else going. This is Denise at KABF 88.3. Thanks for calling. It's who? Hey, Steffi. You can't hear me, can you? I did, and it's not working. Yeah. I appreciate that so much. We can't fix. Charles said he's gonna come up here because I can't figure it out. Okay. Me too. Thank you.
been such a long, long time. Look like I kept you off of my mind, but I can't. Just the thought of you. It's my whole world.
I know, right? I called Charles, but you had already called him, right? That's my son. Something ain't plugged up. See if it is right there. Down there. Is it plugged up? No, it's a plug. Are they plugged in right there? Yeah. Right here, yeah. They got it taped off. Oh, okay. There is a plug loose under here. There's a plug hanging. I don't know what the plug is too. There's a hanging plug. Thank you. There was a couple of them. Only just one. They don't like it. But
All right, Denise. Hey.
so sorry I had to call you in, child.
I have a virus.
What, the machine? Good.
No, me.
All right, don't start.
Yeah.
It's a big plug loose down here, but I don't know if that's what it is.
All right, here's what's going on. Somebody unplugged the mic here. Right here.
This is it right here. You didn't
Yeah,
try
that's
another
not-
mic? Did you not try another one?
So whoever did this,
I just put it on mic off because that's what it said to do on the paper right there. Here's another one here.
so mic one
Who
should
would
be
do
here.
this? I don't know. Sabotage. Are they marked?
You just follow the cord.
Okay.
There's mic one, mic two here.
Just the thought of you.
Just the thought of you. That's crazy.
Probably something going wrong with the mics. You know, so they try an alternate way to hook it up.
You're pretty good.
This mic.
You're pretty good.
Which one is this?
We don't know. Because this came
This
from
mic
under
three,
here.
mic four right here. Now, the reason why it's just muted.
Oh, most of them are muted except for the
except
first
for-
one. I just need the first one to be unmuted. I'm listening.
You should be good to
She
go
said,
now.
say something. She said she listened. Say something. Well, like, pull the music down.
You're now tuning into KABF 88.3
Yeah. You did it.
FM.
That's it. Thank you, child.
No problem.
That's it, Charles. You suck up.
Let me tell you something.
You did that. All right. Yes, we should be up and running at this time. So those of you who are listening in, we'll say thank you so much for your patience with us right here at KABF 88.3 FM, where we are the voice of the people. Big shout out to our program director, Charles, in the house, bringing us back online to make sure that we are doing what we do. And what do we do right here at KABF? What we do is we inform, we educate, we give you opportunities to have your voice heard, to amplify your voices so that you can make sure that you are moving and shaking and navigating this life the way that you want to. So thank you so much for your patience. That's why I love y'all, because y'all show up every kind of way you can. Showing up to be patient is a good way to show up. And we are grateful for you right here at KABF, because we realize and we recognize that we would not be alive today were it not for all of the ways that you show up. And yes, we are in Pledge Drive, and your money is important. And I want you to know that the rest of you is just as important. The way that you support us, the way that you support community, the way that you challenge us, the way that you resist, the way that you are resilient, like all of those things matter. So thank you so much for working with us through these technical difficulties. I do want to remind you that you are listening to Community Voices live right here at KABF 88.3 FM with your host, the Reverend Dr. You can call me Denise, and I am rolling solo this morning. Tony is out of the studio, and he will let you know all about it when he shows up again. I had to play some music to fill in that dead space. You know, you can't have dead space on a radio station, so I played some music. And so the first song that you heard was Indeed Misty by Sarah Vaughan. I was talking to my best friend last night, and he reminded me that when he first told me the name of his car, he said Misty, and I automatically assumed that he was talking about Dorothy Moore's Misty Blue. He was like, no, I'm talking about Misty by Sarah Vaughan. So I started the music with Sarah Vaughan singing Misty, and then I followed it up with Dorothy Moore singing Misty Blue. And now here we are ready for Community Voices. Oh, that came in hot with Anita Baker singing You Bring Me Joy. And we're going to ground our conversation in that. So in this spirit of oneness, you are invited to join this conversation because your voice does matter. And the phone lines are already open at 501-433-0088. The phone lines are already open at 501-433-0088. So call in and lend your voice to the conversation. I do have a couple of announcements that I need to make this morning, and one of them is about our public school system. Let me make sure that I can pull it up right now. But while I'm pulling it up, let me also say, for those of you, we talked about showing up for community. I don't know, so many of us know local vocal artist Tawana Campbell. She was live at Gigi's Lounge right here on Main Street. I think the address is 1304. Don't quote me on that, but you can't miss it if you're on Main Street headed. That should be north on Main Street. It'll be on your left. Every Friday night, live music is played at Gigi's Lounge. And this past Friday night, Tawana Campbell was live in the space. It was her first performance since she has gone through several health issues earlier this year. So for her to be live, for her to be in the flesh, for her to be singing and blowing and just entertaining us all and just reminding of her own self of how great she is, it was good to be in the number. And I wasn't the only one in the number. Black man politician was there. Virgil Miller was in the house, of course. When I tell y'all, this was my first time ever seeing him dance, and he was getting it, baby. He was getting it, but he was getting it sitting down. Everybody can dance sitting down, so I don't know if he can cut a rug standing up, but he was absolutely getting it when he was sitting down. Mr. Mood from Monday Mornings was in the house along with Cynthia. We had Rodney Block was in the house. We had Urban League, the executive director and his wife, they were in the house. We had Maxine Allen's older daughter in the house. It was so many people in the house just supporting community, supporting Tawana, supporting each other, supporting the Black-owned business. And that is what it's all about. So when we talk about all of the ways that you can show up, there's so many ways. And then Tawana needed to take a break. And so what did she do? She told the DJ to play Boots on the Ground. Babe. The whole place erupted. Some people even had their fans. It did not even dawn on me to take my fan, but we had a great time. So when we are able to come together, when we are able to experience Black joy, when we are able to remind each other that resistance is not all that we do, fighting is not all that we do, struggling is not all that we do. Sometimes we just get together to have fun and enjoy each other. And so that's what was happening on Friday night. So I was so glad to be with those of you who were there. The rest of you, if you want, again, every Friday night that happens at Gigi's, you can pay attention to it. They have a Facebook page, so you'll know what's coming up and you can govern yourself accordingly. Here is the announcement that I need to make. Oh, wait a minute. What does Lo say about Tawana? Lo says, Tawana is your cousin? What? Her mama was in the house. So Tawana was singing her first set, and she sang a couple of songs that I absolutely knew, but then a few of those songs I just didn't know. And I kind of felt better because when it was time for her second set, she said, my mama said she didn't know none of these songs. Let me sing something else. And she started singing the blues. Listen, when I tell you we had a high time up in there, we had a high time. So your cousin is talented. She is gifted. She has great personality and charisma. It was a blast. So I do hope that you all will be able to support Tawana at some point. And then Lo says, Kathy is Tawana's mother. Well, I didn't know her name, but she wasn't sitting too far from me. And she was just, when Tawana started singing the blues, her mama was just, oh my goodness. It was great to see. It was just great to see. So thank you all again for all of the ways that you show up for a community. And I love being about it. Here is the announcement that I need to make. It's from Dr. Anika Whitfield. It's about the LRSD fundraiser with the city of Little Rock to absolve student balances. Here we go. Little Rock School District seniors at Central, Hall, Parkview, and Southwest High School currently have a $17,823.81 balance. Let me just say that again. Y'all gonna have to help me with this. Little Rock School District seniors at Central, Hall, Parkview, and Southwest High School, these are predominantly, well, I don't want to say that, currently have a $17,823.81 balance. Some parents are paying daily. They have received other donations. Many people are paying into a pool on the Little Rock School District page that goes to all schools. Balances carry from kindergarten to 12th grade. Some parents qualify but have not completed the income-based form that considers the gross amount, not net. I plan to carry donations to Miss Mary Hart at the administration office on Jones Street, who is overseeing the balances, donations, and has the list from all the schools. The money donated on the Little Rock School District page goes into a pool. It is not earmarked, it goes into a pool. If you would like more information to figure out how you can donate, how you can help in this situation, the number is 502-447-2469. Again, the number is 502-447-2469. That's the number to Ms. Mary Hart, who is managing this account, where we are trying to eliminate this balance of $17,823.81. Hopefully it has gone down since then, because I got this message, I think last week sometime, but I want to make sure that you are aware that our students need our help. Lo asks the question, does that have to do with food services, free lunch? Well, it can't be free lunch if it's costing $17,000. I'm assuming it has to do with free lunch, but then there are other costs that students incur as they matriculate public school. So I'm not really sure. I can ask that question and have the answer for you at some point. But right now, I just know that there's a balance. It starts at kindergarten and goes to 12th grade. It reminds me of the system of criminal injustice as it relates to our youth, where they begin to surveil particularly Black children beginning at age 8, if not earlier. And so they already get caught up in any minor infraction that funnels them through to the criminal injustice system and contributes to mass incarceration. And so they have these fines and these fees that are attributed to the children, knowing full well that the children cannot pay it because they do not have jobs. And so that means that it falls on the parents to pay it. And if you were listening to the announcements before the show came on, we continue to remind you that in the state of Arkansas, almost the majority of our residents are ALICE, which means asset limited, income constrained, employed. They have jobs and are still unable to meet all of the needs for their family. So now you're going to complicate that with these fines and fees from the youth, which sometimes don't get paid because the parents simply cannot afford to do it. And so then those fines carry over with the children until they become adults. And now as adults, they are still entangled in the criminal injustice system, even if they have not committed any other quote unquote crime, because the money, the capitalistic system, the system of mass incarceration that's designed to keep Black children down, then it continues to perpetuate, to plague our lives over and over and over again. And so that's what this reminds me of. You started in kindergarten with these children all the way up to 12th grade. And if they do not pay this money, they will not receive their diploma. It's as simple as that for the school district, but it's way more complicated than that for those of us who are trying to navigate it. So $17,823.81 is needed so our students can get on from this public school system and move into what they are meant to do in the next phase, the next season of their lives. So if there is a way that you can help, even if you don't have the money, if you know somebody that's got the money, if you want to take up an offering at your church, I remember when we used to take up 2 offers. The first one was tithes, and offerings and tithes and offering. And then the second one was the benevolent. And so those of you who still believe in benevolence and y'all have the offerings at your church, let the church do something. Help these students pay this money. So I wanted to make sure that I made that announcement. It's extremely important for us. And if you have any questions, again, the number to Miss Mary Hart is 502-447-2469, 502-447-2469. The song that I played to lead us in to ground our conversation along with our EJI tidbit was Anita Baker singing You Bring Me Joy from her Sweet Love album from Rapture. I think the name of the album was Rapture. I think it was one of the first albums that she ever recorded. I absolutely love Anita Baker. I love her voice, how sultry it sounds. I gotta work on my voice. I gotta do some voice coaching so I can get sultry. And so she's singing this song about you bringing me joy. And I wanted to make sure that I kind of fleshed out a little bit what was happening on Friday night as we celebrated Tawana Campbell coming back to the stage after her health scares and talking about what it means to experience Black joy in particular. But joy is not relegated only to Black people. We just have a particular joy that we experience because we are experiencing it as a weapon against what we fight against every single day, which is the system of white inhumanity, the system of whiteness that continues to lie to us every day and continues to perpetuate the myth that to be white means you are somehow in a different category from everyone else. And so this Black joy is important to experience, but joy as a whole is. And so Anita Baker is talking about the different ways that this particular person in her life brings her joy. It's just what it means and what it feels like to just be around you, to be in your presence, to be in your space, because there's so much joy that's attached to that. So thinking about that joy and what brings us joy is what I want to root this conversation in today, along with this particular EJI tidbit that comes from May the 13th. This is the first time that this has ever happened to me on the calendar. So for those of you who have the physical calendar, you're going to see on May 13th, 1956, what I'm about to read. Those of you who are getting the calendar online, for some reason, the 13th is from 1960, and it's a different tidbit. So I just want to acknowledge, yes, I see the inconsistency in the calendar, and I do want to just own that and apologize for that. But here is what the tidbit says on the actual calendar for May 13th, which would be today. Yeah, which would be today. 4 white men rape Annette Butler, a Black 16-year-old in Tylertown, Mississippi, and are later acquitted by an all-white, all-male juries, despite a confession. So in 1956, on this day, May 13th, 4 white men raped a 16-year-old Black young girl named Annette Butler in Tylertown, Mississippi, and they are later acquitted by all white, all male juries, despite the fact that at least one of the 4 men confessed to the crime, and they are not held accountable for any aspect of it. So when we talk about Black joy, that's why it's different, because when you have to deal with this kind of trauma, not just once, but on a regular, consistent basis, not just back during Jim Crow, not just during the system of enslavement, but even today in 2025, we are still experiencing this kind of hatred, this kind of trauma, these kinds of atrocities that happen to Black bodies. Then for us to be able to still find a space to be able to laugh and to enjoy each other and to let it all out, then that becomes powerful and strategic and very necessary. So we're talking about the ways that we get joy by being with each other, the ways that we experience joy by you bringing it to me as my partner, as my lover, as my spouse, as my friend, as my colleague, as my peer. You can bring me joy. But I also want to talk about the ways that we ask the world to bring us joy. So not too long ago, I played Kendrick Lamar's They Not Like Us. And it is part of the rap battle that is happening between him and Drake. I think it's the culmination of the rap battle, but I'm not really sure about that. But I played that song because I was using Drake and Kendrick Lamar as metaphors of the system of white inhumanity and the nation of Blackness, and how white inhumanity interacts with us on a regular basis. I was hoping that by using this rap battle, we could see the system at work more plainly, because sometimes when we keep it in the context of politics or socio-political arenas, it's hard for people to really see what we're trying to say. So I was like, oh, let me take something as plain, as common for those who are following this battle and see if I can't help make it come alive for folks. And so that was important to me, and that's what I chose to do. And I wanted to play the song They Not Like Us. Whenever I play a song, it actually takes me, in some cases, way longer than I expect, because it is important to me not to play music that is vile and profane on the show that I host. I might sometimes listen to it. Let me stop lying. To be honest with you, the first time I listen to a song, I'm only listening for the beat. My body is going to react to the beat. I start moving, I start gyrating, I start doing all this stuff because I'm listening to the music. But then after I hear the lyrics, if the lyrics are profane, then I get disappointed and very sad, because now I cannot enjoy this music in my body anymore, because I'm not going to let this kind of vain and vile and profane music permeate my space. It is really important to me to protect my peace and to protect my mind and my body and my soul and my spirit. And so it takes me sometimes so long to find a version of the song that I can play on the air. That's what happened to me when I was looking up the song They Not Like Us, because it is explicit in its lyrics. And I wanted to make sure that I found a song that was worthy of being played on Community Voices. Wait a minute, let me see what. Oh, so Lola is talking about the old tenet of conquer and divide. Something I said made him think about this, the old tenet of conquer, or maybe it's divide and conquer. I'm not sure. So I wanted to make sure I got that comment in from Lo. And so I had to go, I was going through looking for, again, a clean version of Kendrick Lamar's They Not Like Us. And so I found one on YouTube, of course, and they were playing the lyrics, which is great, because I look up again, it takes me a long time. So I'm looking up the lyric, I'm reading the lyrics as the song is playing on YouTube, so that I can make sure that it's going to be okay for me to expose this to you on the show. And as I'm reading the lyrics are not even making a complete sentence, because so many of them are blanked out or are substituted with an asterisk because they are profane. They are vile lyrics. And so I began to think about how, as a sign language interpreter, people who are deaf, especially at church, people who are deaf, I'm trying to sign the sermon in a Black church in particular. And the people who are deaf or hard of hearing or deaf and blind, people who are relying on sign language to understand, to be able to worship in spirit and in truth, are left out of the conversation many times, because the pastor is not making complete sentences as he or she or they preaches, because they want to shout in the middle of the sentence. So the sentence might say something like, let's just say the sentence says God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. They'll say God is And so all I say is God is, that's the only thing I can sign, because any person that's signing with integrity, you can only sign what is being said. So when the preacher starts shouting, I can't sign that because you ain't saying no words and you haven't finished the sentence. So the people who are deaf or hard of hearing or deaf and blind and reliant on this mode of communication cannot participate because you ain't saying nothing, because you so busy shouting, you're not taking into account the power of the word as it goes forth in its completeness, in its fullness. You are more concerned about entertainment. And so people get left out. And not only do they get left out, many of my friends in the community would say to me, Denise, this is stupid. Like, what are you saying? I can't even follow what you're talking about. And all I can say is, you're right. I cannot make a complete sentence because they are not making a complete sentence. And that's how I felt as I was listening to Kendrick Lamar. You're not even making a complete sentence because you're so busy cussing and so busy using the N word. I'm not even understanding what you're saying. Calling you live on the air, Community Voices. Thanks for calling.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
I would like to, how can I do this? You know, I the horse, and I understand. I appreciate what you do. You know, when we start off as children, we are told what to do, and we are programmed, don't do it this way and that way. And that followed us all the way into adulthood. So we don't really make a commitment to ourselves on what we really need to do. And Black people, we don't have a commitment to our freedom with being our own personal self. So we can't connect with nobody else because they are not connected and really want to have freedom too. This is the only way we must start as fathers. We got to make a real commitment among one another that we want to be free and run through our own life. As long as we get going, oh, I'm trying to do this shit, I'm looking good to prove myself to somebody. I'm buying a car to impress somebody. And all that bullshit, that's got to go. If we ever want to be free, we got to make a real commitment to what we want. Period.
I appreciate you, caller. Caller said, period. Point blank, period. Like me and my cousin and I, we say, bottomline.com. We have to make a commitment to ourselves that we want to be free. And in order to do that, we've got to be careful what we ask the world to give us as it relates to joy. First of all, we shouldn't be asking this world to give us anything, because this world don't care nothing about us, and that's anybody. This world only cares about racism and capitalism primarily, and then all the other isms, right? And all the other phobias: xenophobia, homophobia, transphobia, fat phobia, sexism, genderism, heterosexism. Like, that's what this world cares about. So we shouldn't even be embracing anything that this world has to offer. But we do allow ourselves to embrace. And so we say this all the time. Lowe's reminding us, free your mind and your butt will follow. Free your minds. That's what In Vogue sings. And so this caller is saying, you got to make a commitment to yourself. Stop worrying about other people. Stop trying to impress other people. Stop being concerned about other people's opinion of you, and be concerned about your opinion of yourself. And that falls right in line with this conversation, because as I was looking at Kendrick Lamar's lyrics, I'm reminded that he won a Pulitzer Prize. And so I'm like, okay, as an English major, as a writer, as one who is in love with words and books, I'm thinking to myself, okay, surely this kind of writing that he's using in the song They Not Like Us cannot be what got him the Pulitzer Prize. So evidently, this must be the language that he's using simply because it's part of the rap battle. Because it's the rap battle, if you set the words in the context of the rap battle, then they make sense. But when you set them in the context of winning a Pulitzer Prize, they make no sense at all. And so I'm trying to figure this thing out. Caller, you're live on the air, KABF at 8.3, Community Voices. Thanks for calling.
Hi, Denise. It's Pat Ward.
Hey, Pat Ward, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you for asking.
Listening to you while driving, and started out calling and talking about that topic, because many of us, as we grow up, soon as we get to be late teenagers and sometimes early teenagers, we decide that we don't need to mind our parents and get disrespectful. But what we don't seem to understand is that we also don't have to believe in everything that they told us to believe in. We can change that. Our thoughts create our world, and we need to understand that.
Wow, our thoughts create our world. You said a mouthful right there. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great show.
Yes, thank you. That was Pat Ward, Bureau Chief Pat Ward. Her show is every Wednesday morning right here at KABF 88.3 FM, 9 o'clock a.m. to 10 o'clock a.m., 1 hour, 9 to 11, 1 hour, Arkansas Talks. Tune in tomorrow morning so that you can hear Pat Rogers Ward talking to us more about what we're talking about now. We are all Many of us, when you think about Judge Griffin, when you think about Brother Wayne, when you think about this show, when you think about Workplace, when you think about Arkansas Talks, many of us are saying the same things in different ways from different perspectives. Calling you live on the air at KABF 88.3. This is Community Voices. Thanks for calling.
Good morning, Sister Denise.
Hey, Ezekiel.
And to your audience and those on the web. I like that song you started off with, Misty. That's a studio version of Misty. I like the ones that when the nightclub scene, she had one that she actually released that was done at the Tivoli in Copenhagen, Denmark. That's my favorite.
Okay.
And hopefully you'll get to hear that one as well. That's probably my most favorite of all the Sarah tunes. And Pat Ward is exactly correct. I mean, you mentioned how Mr. Politician was dancing in his seat. Coming together is a rarity now. But when I came up, and a lot of folks my age and in my era, there were lots of joints and juke joints where people showcase their talents to perform, sing, dance, etc. We had bands, live bands. We had acts. I mean, everything from comedians to vocalists to instrumentalists. So they entire shows. So we had nightclubs all up and down Main Street, etc. I mean, lots of folks can probably still tell you about those type of venues, and not just the Dreamland from the 40s, where Cab Calloway and Duke and all those folks performed, but just on an everyday, weekly basis on Main Street, where we had homegrown talent that was showcased and was very, very, very good and effective, and lots of folks came together to dance. We had a program for teenagers here, for black teenagers, a TV program called Center Stage, where we danced every Saturday at the community center. And folks would come there, and they weren't all teenagers either, but it was for teens, and it was hosted by then Deputy Sheriff, who became our mayor, Charles Buster. So to make a long story short, that culture came and left, and should, of course, be brought back again, because we came together as youth and as adults to have a good time. And there was a lot of folks that danced in their seats and danced on the floor and danced in their mind, you know. So you're absolutely right. It does bring about a togetherness and a cohesiveness, and the joy and pleasure that you get out of seeing folks showcase their talents and what have you. It was just something that was always apparent to us. I guess we took it for granted, but it's good to know that we're having it back in some form. And also, I want to say something about something else you had mentioned, and the gentleman that just got off. There is a lot of BS that's going on out here, and we should know BS from you know, the real thing. So hopefully we'll be on the outlook for what's real and what is real. And as far as awards go, Jay-Z's little girl got an award for, you know, and she just started. She's not I don't think, a Saturday Junior type phenomenon. You know, I'm sure her talent has been limited just to her circle of exposure. But at one time, we had a lot of little children that were extraordinary acts and went on to become some of the best in their business, like the brothers that danced from one end of the country to the other, and the Nichols brothers. You know, we just had lots of, we could name names forever, of young people who had talents galore, but they weren't as exposed as things are today, but they were the best of the best. And I just wanted to say that we need to keep on trying to showcase these talents, and we do more than just fight the fight for freedom. We live the fight for freedom, and when we all come together, you know, they have these, what they call dance-a-thons. I don't know just how they're named, you know, like for the Greeks. And I don't know why they say Greeks, because they were dancing before the Greeks were even civilized. And, you know, but they have these stumps and what have you, and we carry on these traditions from times immemorial. We know we go back a long ways for what we do today in America. And it's not just something that we are doing to celebrate. I think a lot of times this is just our culture, what we have innate. It's just things that we always have done as a people. You know, we have to remember that we got a president now that's bringing folks over from South Africa, and he says that these people are being brutalized. And I looked at them when they got off the plane, however they got here, and they look like they just left a resort or something. They look like they were refugees or whatever. So, you know, we take that for what it's worth. Somebody comment on what I'm saying. I'm gonna get off the telephone because I could probably go on forever. I really appreciate all you're saying. And when you mentioned Kendrick Lamar and Drake battle, you know, to me, that's just something that's put up there to distract from what's really going on in the world, because just because you're black don't mean you're black. You know, they call those folks Oreos for a reason. Black on the outside and white on the inside. Just like the Indians call folks Big Apples is red on the outside and white on the inside. So there's a lot of distractions going on in the world, and awards are given to, I think, a lot of times people that they want to have them, and not necessarily who are deserving. So I'll get off there, and hopefully everybody will have a real good rest of the day. And thank you so much for all that you do. I really appreciate this show, and I'm going to play in $25.
Oh, woo, woo.
KABF. I would be more specific, but I like Pat Ward's show. She mentioned something about fish and barbecue the other day, and that was right on the street that I lived on. As a matter of fact, I stayed 2 blocks from there, and we ate barbecue there all the time, and that was something that brought back memories. So much for that, and you have a good day, and the rest of the people that's listening, I hope the best for them as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Ezekiel. Ezekiel said $25 coming in to KABF 88.3 FM. Thank you so much. He did not earmark the money, and that is fine, because please know this. We are not in competition as DJs and hosts at KABF 88.3 FM. We do realize, though, that many of us have different listening audiences. And so you listen to us because there's something about us that draws you to us. And so for that reason, we want to capitalize on that and say, hey, if you all love this show so much, you can give the money to this show. But even though you pledge to the show, it goes to KABF 88.3 FM. And so please know that we are not in competition. However you give, whoever you give it to, we will gladly accept it. What they say in the church, any way you bless me, we'll be satisfied. Calling you live on the air at KABF 88.3. Thanks for calling.
But I would just like to say one little tidbit about our capitalism society that we have. We go to work and work a whole week, or maybe 2 weeks, however they get paid. And you feel good when you get your check for about 3 damn seconds. And all hell break out, because you know you ain't got enough money to pay all your bills. And you think about all that. What kind of life is that for people to live under? I don't understand people. How are they really going on with all this stuff? I mean, what don't never get ahead, get old, sick, can't do nothing, till I get retired then. You know, people really need to wake up.
I agree with you, caller. 100% need to wake up. Thank you for calling again. Yeah, and I think that, I mean, how old is that movie now with Spike Lee, School Days? And I think it's at the very end. He's like, wake up! And I mean, that's still a clarion call for all of us in this world, and particularly for Black folks, because we are walking around here asleep. We are walking around anesthetized. We are walking around distracted. We are walking around bamboozled. We are walking around complicit. We have got to figure out how to loose ourselves, to untangle, disentangle ourselves, right? Is we got to figure that out. And it's not, listen, I just told myself this morning. I reminded myself of a song I played myself on my own show. Roberta Flack said, just do it. Just You listen, it's not hard. Just wake up and say, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to do something different. When we begin to come up with all the reasons why and all the excuses, that's all they are. They're reasons and excuses that don't mean anything at the end of the day. Just say, I'm not going to do it anymore, and just stop doing it. Now, let me be clear. I believe that Kendrick Lamar has a brilliant mind. I believe that what he did at the halftime show was brilliant. I believe how you unpack what happened at the halftime show for the Super Bowl was brilliant. I absolutely understand why he had the largest viewership in the history of the Super Bowl halftime show. I get all of that. So I am not knocking Kendrick Lamar in terms of his ability to bring us to a more conscious level through his artistic style of writing. That is not lost on me at all. The point that I am trying to make that I'm not going to be able to make, so I probably shouldn't even start it. I'm going to have to do this show again next week. The point that I want to make, though, I want to draw some parallels between him and Ryan Coogler. And I want to talk about that. I want to talk about joy, where we get our joy and where we can source our joy and what the world is offering to us as joy, as opposed to what we can select ourselves as joy. Because just because the world says, hey, this is what you need to listen to, this is what you need to pay attention to, this is who you need to promote, we don't have to do it just because the world says to do it. Because as the caller said before Ezekiel, or after Ezekiel, when he called and talked about capitalism, this world only wants to do what's going to bring it in money. And it wants to capitalize particularly off of the free labor of Black bodies, free labor of other bodies too, but absolutely the free labor of Black bodies. So anything that the world can do to get you to buy into the system that gives it more money, that's what let's just take Mother's Day, for example. I had to preach. I chose to preach on Mother's Day, but people didn't want to ask me to preach on Mother's Day because they were like, well, this is your first Mother's Day without your mother, and we just did not want to put that burden on you for you to have this responsibility to the church. And I said, whoa. First of all, when I say I don't do holidays, I mean that. Now, my birthday is not a holiday. Let me just say that. My godson was like, I didn't call you because I know you don't celebrate holidays. I didn't call you on your birthday. I'm like, my birthday is not a holiday. But Mother's Day is a holiday. They've turned it into a holiday. The very founder of Mother's Day no longer enjoys Mother's Day because it's so capitalistic in it, the way that we approach it. And so for me, Mother's Day, I don't need the world to tell me when to honor my mama. I don't need the world to tell me when is a good day to go spend time with her. I don't need the world to tell me when I ought to take her out to dinner. I honor my mother every single day, even though her energy has shifted. I don't need the world to tell me how to interact with anybody, because I can choose to do that through my relationships. My body tells me what to do. My mind tells me what to do. My spirit tells me what to do. My soul tells me what to do. So I ain't got to wait on no Mother's Day to talk about let me honor my mother. And so what happens on Mother's Day? All of y'all that spend all this money on flowers and going out to eat on this one particular day, that's them making money off of you. You don't, that's what it is. That's what Christmas is. That's what New Year's is. That's what Halloween, all of these holidays, they're only designed for this system to make more money. We should be able, as the caller said, to free ourselves from these ideologies about how we're supposed to interact and who we're supposed to celebrate and when and where and how. We can come up with that on our own through our relationship with each other. And so again, I'm not going to be able to finish this conversation. I don't even think I really got started because we had such technical difficulties, but I'm not even mad. I'm not complaining. I'm going to come back again next week with the same subject matter. And I might have to couch it in a different song. I don't know. But your girl Lola is standing by right now, ready to give you 2 hours of jazz for Jazzy Tuesdays. You do not want to touch that dial. I'm going to bring her in today with what I consider to be a request. I don't think he actually said, like, I'm requesting this, but I took it as a request. So I'm going to bring her in right now with Sarah Vaughan singing Misty live from Sweden. Don't touch that dial. We're right here at KABF 88.3 FM, where we are the voice of the people. Bringing